Hello guys and welcome to another quick sculpt series, and in this one we're gonna just do quick sculpting right on various characters. So we'll have different characters I think every week or something right, just to try to keep the channel updated, and then and then have some fun with sculpting, right? And of course we're gonna be using ZBrush for the sculpting and nothing else, right? Just ZBrush. And I'm gonna go to projects and then go for Dynamesh 128. And as you can see already, today's topic is Davy Jones from the Pirate of the Caribbeans, right? Okay, so some people start with like a real human head model, but for me it's not that difficult to start with just like a sphere. I'm not worrying too much about having to go from scratch anyways. And one thing I do though is in the draw I want to change the focal length to 85, so that way I'm not gonna go to have too much perspective. Of course I want perspective to be on so that it feels more like a real thing, but I don't want to have too much of a distortion, so that's gonna be 85 in there. Don't really need to see the floor, so I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, use the move brush and move this guy down, right, the bottom part of the sphere down to kind of like getting the proportion of the face. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna try to get the basic gist of the face and trying to figure out where the cheekbone is. Kind of it feels like having a thinner kind of like or I don't know, like a thinner bottom of the cheekbone, or the lower part of the body, right? The jaw and the chin, those things are fairly narrow compared to the width of the cheekbone. Or we can also say maybe the cheekbone is kind of wide, right? But I kind of like this feeling of being a little bit skinny here on the bottom, right? Of course, nonetheless, he will have a super big cheekbone and a bit bigger eye socket basically, so I'm trying to at least make that part looks good. And going to different angles, you want to make sure that you have the correct arc for those things, especially for the orbit of the eye, right? Or the contour of the eye socket, if that makes sense, right? You want to make this part to have the correct position and correct size and also correct volume. Okay, something like that. Okay, and then of course the forehead. Okay, now for the back I don't really care too much. I think it's tilted forward too much. I'm gonna drag that back. I don't really see the back of the head anyway, so I'm just gonna focus on the front. He has no ear, so I guess that part can be ignored already. And I guess no jawline either, so we'll have to basically quickly lay out maybe this part of the face and then the tentacles down there. So we'll have a triangle like nose. You want to take care of the proportion, of course, like how big is this triangle, and also where it is, how long it is, right? Those basic things, or something like that. And then we'll have the tentacles. But before I do that, I think one of the very important proportion or part of the character is the hat. So kind of really want to have the hat in there also. Okay, so I'm gonna go start with adding a sphere. Okay, and drag it up, mask the top, and then Control W to give it a group. So that way I can Control Shift and click on the bottom one and do a modify topology underneath geometry, delete hidden. That way I can rotate and basically scale and to kind of like make the head more or less. I mean for the middle part. Oh, of course, because I have symmetry and I forget to turn on symmetry. Let me do mirror and weld to fix it. Don't need this row BZM to go to Z modeler. I'm gonna go for delete edge polyloop all. Polyloop to get rid of that. No big deal. And then I need to go to display properties and turn on double so that I can see the other side Anyway, now before I create before I create that, which you know, the part that's covering the head, which I think I can do that now. I just need to bump this out basically while holding down Alt and drag to have that. Okay, and of course the head shouldn't be that simple, so I guess I need to make this part go down more. Go into the front view, you can see clearly this one, it's kind of like a triangulated bottom, and there's an opening here. So I think I can use the slice curve, which is BSI, so I can slice out the part that I want to cut open. Right, and again, it's not symmetrical, no big deal, just mirror well to fix that, and then Control Shift and oh, don't want to cut that. So I'm gonna maybe mask this area also, and then Control W to give that a group, so that way I can Control Shift and click on the conjunction of those two things, and then delete it. And Control W to give everything a group. Now with that opening being created, I can then use move to basically reposition it. I think it's gonna go higher in that manner, and these guys need to go down and have a nice fall off basically. Now based on the triangular nature, I think it'll be more like wider on the back, right, and then thinner in the front, and then it's also gonna go forward quite a bit, I think. I need some more taking over here, but no big deal. Just quickly drag those things to move it to the right place. Now I look at it, I think I'm getting this wrong. This is going outwards. And mine is going inward. No big deal. Again, just drag this in, drag this out, and drag this in. Maybe you can polish that a little bit. Okay, to have it arc out basically. Smooth that out. Okay, now maybe it's too high now, so let me shrink it this way. And then here, maybe I need to give some more thickness. Never really wear or see a real hat like this. Must be really heavy. Anyway, so kind of need to, I think I need to drag this thing forward then, and then form a triangular bottom, as you can see in there. And drag this up because it's tilting up. Edge polish can help me to clean things up a little bit. Yeah. And it looks like it can also go lower on the back, so let me do that. Take the contour. And apparently it does have some more volume here, so maybe I can make mark the ridge over here and see where it goes. Alright, now one thing I need to really take care of is the proportion. I don't want it to be going too far, so. And also it's kind of like flat in here, so I probably need to use the edge polish to flatten it. Okay, on the side, just to try to capture the characteristic of this hat. Really don't know how the back would look like, so I'm trying to speculate. So this would go in on the bottom, and the top will be the one that's tilting out. So let me try to hop with that. Maybe getting a little bit thinner here. Yeah, I think just need to get this thing backwards a bit more. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, and I think those versions are kind of different. This one is more rounded anyways. So I think I just need to get something close in this case. Yeah. All right, and then after that, maybe just make it a little bit more straight. Here I can see this line is quite straight. Okay, now after that I need to start to adding maybe the tentacles. So I'm gonna go back here and then use the curve tube and drag out the tubes. I can make my brush smaller and click, smaller a little bit more and click. And also it's getting thinner on the bottom, so I probably need to go to here and go to curve modifiers, turn on size and flip that and just make it thinner on the tip a little bit. And it's not getting super thin. Let me try that again. Yeah, maybe a bit thinner. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna drag this in, and also probably need to go longer. In this case, it's much longer than the face. So let me cover the cursor closer and then keep on dragging. Keep on dragging. I'm not too worrying about the shape yet because I can always just drag it like this. Probably, yeah. I can always tweak it. So I think that's enough. So for the rest of the shaping, I can maybe use traditional sculpting. So it's going to rotate this way maybe. And then it goes backwards, and this goes forward. And this can go in. And this can go this way, and this can go this way. And here, yeah, they have some curling effect. And I think this should be going forward more in this part. Yeah. All right, now for those two, I think they need to be actually fused together. So I need to go ahead and do a Dynamesh. I have to Dynamesh them together. And that way I can start to refining the shaping here. So we have this kind of like a big long beard, right? A really cool design actually. And then we have this lip on the bottom. And looks like he's trying to make some sort of like an expression. So I'm trying to drag the lip out, and this is where the teeth are. Okay, and then drag this up. Okay, probably need to tweak it more later, but for now I need to just find out where this is. Pillar of the mouse, the lip, right down there. And then very visible spherical like chin on the bottom. Okay, now when I look at it, I think I need to tweak the forehead a little bit and drag it backwards. And there's a bunch of cool wrinkles. I think I can just quickly lay out a feel, right, to get a better feel of this character. And there's some wrinkles here too. Some really strong ones over here. And apparently his expression is more like this. And maybe just use some move brush to get to the structure closer to some real human anatomy. And cheekbone, right, cheekbone. And then here, I think there will be a, I think I can add more detail when I have the tentacles, so it's not too worried yet. Okay, and yeah, and smooth that out, and I can keep on adding those tentacles. So B, C, curve tube, right? And then I'm gonna drag this guy down. Oh, too big. Smaller than that. I can make the brush smaller and click on it to resize anyways. Okay. Probably don't need to move all these things. I can manually move it over anyways. So let me just click on the model, drag it up, move it closer, rotate, and maybe smooth it out to make it thinner. And I think it's behind more, and it also have its own internal arc. Let me mask that, reverse that, blur that, and then drag. That would, oh, can't really do that because I am dragging the body also. So maybe drag them out first. Control click, right, and then drag them out first, and then I can drag it over and drag it back in because I just wanted to arc it out. Maybe too much. Yeah, a little bit would be fun. Then I mesh it again, and I can start smoothing things out. And then refine the connection, of course. Let's see if we can make that expression feels more recognizable. It's trying to, or it's not happy basically. So I guess that we can also make the cheek go up a bit more just to mimic that. And some extra structures maybe. I have some fun with that. Okay, and then I just need to keep on going with the rest of the tentacles. So let's see how fast I can go with that. PC, let me give that a shortcut. Maybe number 4, so I can always go, yeah, there real quick, and then another tentacle. So it's gonna go like bigger arcs and then smaller arcs like that, and smaller this, and then yeah, click on the model to finish that and drag it to connect to the body. Of course, I need to do some of the bottom ones before I do the upper ones. So that's one of them, and I think I can control and drag to have a copy, and that way I don't have to create like so many multiple ones in this case. Now the neck is underneath, so I'm assuming there's not much layers, maybe just 2 or 3 layers of this. Okay, I also want to keep the distance because I really don't want to dynamic them all together and having them fused. I can bring them together after I have maybe a topology, at least a zero measure version of topology. Yeah, so give it some arcing here too. Another copy, and maybe this one can be over here, and I can maybe rotate it so it's not the same. And just some of the bottom layers, I think. Again, I want to keep the distance so they're not like fused together or something when I dynamesh, but I need to be real careful though, because that could easily dynamesh together. So maybe I can make them thicker when I'm done. Right, dynamesh. Yeah, I don't think there's anything fused. So probably better to also make the connections by just, you know, draw something over to make it blend with the face better. And there are some shorter ones, you know, and some ones is going in more. So let's try to, let me try to add just 2 more here on the back. Make it smaller and click on the model, extend it, and yeah. Okay, that should be fun. And then control and drag again, rotate it backwards maybe. And that's another one. Again, keep the distance. And then maybe another copy, but this time rotate it to have a different curvature. And let's kind of go over here maybe. Those two are merged together, but I guess it could be cases that you have those merged once anyway, so maybe we can keep that one like this, you know, no big deal. Right. Yeah, that's one layer, and then probably need to go ahead and just need to keep on adding new layers. So now again on the top layers they're gonna be a little more interesting. Whoops. Yeah, there's something like this, I think. I'm making it even more curly than the reference. I think it could be more dynamic looking if I make them even having more curling happening. This is one very interesting one on the cheek that's kind of like broken, right? That's kind of like a broken one. I wonder what happens to him. Okay, then a mesh, and then do some connections. No big deal. Yeah, but again, I need more, so I can also just do something here first. Like, probably not. I need to really draw it out. Maybe this one can have a lesser arc, just that, and then smaller and click. Yeah, click on the model to finish it. Give it some arc on this angle, maybe not that much, just this much, yeah. And then here, of course, need to really tweak the thickness so it does make sense, and also avoid this clipping effect. Right, avoid clipping. So this may not be as simple, right? Because you, on one hand, you want them to be cool, but you can see here I'm already fusing those two together. That can be good. So I guess what I can do is let me dynamesh that together first. I should have a higher resolution maybe, but here I'll have to deal with this problem. So let me Control Shift and drag over here, using of course the select rectangular. And just so that I can isolate this area, and then I can then go ahead and use masking to with the lasso to lasso that, and Control W to give that a group. I need to go further then. That way I'm able to gather the connection by getting rid of that group I created. Right, I can do a delete hidden. Okay, and then I can do a, oh, that's fused together too. I don't want that. So I need to do the same trick. Modify topology, delete hidden. Okay. I'll deal with that later. What happens? Yeah, I can dynamesh again. They're still connected over here, so probably need to just give it some help. Right, you two are not supposed to be connected. Dynamesh again. This part is still fused, so I guess I can use BMT to move the topological. I can move this guy away. Are they still connected somehow? Let me see. Yeah, this part is still connected. Delete hidden. Dynamesh. Just that little area, maybe. Oh, it's hard to see. I think I can know if they're connected or not by using BMT. Move topological. If I move and it's moving there, I know they're connected. Right, so there's something in here. Let me turn on display properties. And then double. Maybe they are not, because I don't see any. So if I keep the distance and have maybe a slightly higher resolution, that would make it work better. Oh, how did I turn on that? Okay, and then yeah, dynamesh. Okay, now it's better. Let's smooth this out. Keep the distance. Yeah, and then just need to keep on going and add new tentacles. Let me smooth these guys out. So there's some more right on the face, so I think I can add a few more here. Okay, and that goes to here. I think here maybe this one, those two kind of like having some connections. Maybe I can make some like these two to be kind of like connected over here. Right, that would be something kind of like a variation. Okay. I really like this idea of having things curling more on the end. So if you can just mask these guys, maybe a little bit more. Alt click there to reset the pivot. Right, to have this arc even more. Now that would be cool. Yeah. And then control click there. I think I'm making it sticking out too much. So go back in. Okay, some more over here. I always make my brush too big. I don't know. That doesn't feel like to what this guy have. So I think the curve is like this. Like it does have a bigger arc here, and then it reaches to the smaller parts. It has all those smaller changes. I think that's what's happening. But again, I want to avoid clipping, so I can bring that down later when I'm having like the measure version, right? So I'm not too worried yet. I have that one, and then yeah, hope that distance is big enough. Control and drag. To have a copy, and that's going to be just another piece from the back. somewhere. And then I can maybe change the contour. Okay, and Dynamesh. All right, make these things thinner. But again, you want to feel the tentacles to be alive, and one of the things that's making them look cool is all those curves. So you really want to make the curve looks dynamic looking, right? And all those goes all those kind of like directions. Yeah, and then we can have that little funny one there. And I think these ones can just be already the last piece going towards the face. And there's one interesting one here. So one more. Maybe extend it just a little bit. Oh, that doesn't look right. Yeah, it goes in. So let me redo it then. I want it to be going, as you can see, it's arcing in and then down. So this way and then this way. All right. Click on the model to finish that, and maybe make it longer. Tilt it down this way. All right, then I measure that to have that one extra interesting one. And it's kind of connected to the cheekbone, right? So I need to kind of give it some cool arc. Okay, can see something down there. This one is broken, so it's not quite symmetrical in this case. So this one is kind of like okay, right? It's just shorter, while the other side is actually opened. So I can deal with that later on. You know what? I'm gonna do that now. So let me turn off symmetry, and then for this piece, I'm gonna go Control Shift and click on that, and then I'm gonna use the BCC clip curve to cut that. Okay, and then you can see it's kind of like a hole there, so I can probably also digging in already. And then use inflate to inflate the surrounding here. Right, like I opened, I don't know what that is. Yeah, a hole here, basically. Then I measure again. Yeah, double check. I think every connection here is done by me intentionally, so I think we're in the clear, right? We have all the things in there, all the tentacles needed. Of course, you're more than welcome to add more. I think I'm kind of like getting a little bit fast here because I don't want to spend all the time doing all these. Okay. Right. So, while I'm still in Dynamesh stage, I kind of wanted to lay out everything first. So that include not just these tentacles, but also the eye, of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and subto, insert a spherical 3D, so make it smaller, and then shrink it and put it into the eye socket. I can turn on transparency here to see how big it is. Now you can imagine how big is your eye socket, right? Can you really fit an eyeball into that eye socket? If not, then it's probably too big. Okay, imagine the socket here, right? Then I'm gonna have to mirror it over. So mirror and wild. Okay. Now when I look at it, I'm thinking I'm making the forehead arcing in too fast. So let me turn on symmetry, of course, and bring these guys back out. Now when I look at this, I think I'm losing too much of a volume here. Let me drag these guys forward. The brow ridge, of course, needs to be a higher ground in this case. All right, now eyeball is in there. I just need to maybe bring it up so that I can have the correct shape for the eyelids. Okay, so this is the upper eyelid, and this is the lower eyelid, and this is the corner of the eye. I don't think the facial expression is right. I need to maybe bring this thing up. And then he's really being angry, so this should be more like this instead. And this should go up more to open the eye more. Right. Something like that, maybe. I also do want to pay attention to this contour. The cheekbone is high, maybe, but maybe not that high. Right, lower that down a little bit. You can see this is not that exaggerated, I guess. So I try to refine the shape of the eye socket or the orbit. Lower eyelid. Let me give some more volume here, and then of course I need to fill in what's going on here. So it's basically I need to define the bottom of the eye bag, which is basically the bottom of the the edge of the lower contour of the eye socket. So this edge here, you want to find out where that is. Okay. Here maybe those things can get connected earlier, like this. All right, let me make the hat just a little bit bigger to cover more area. I think this is way wider than the face. In this case, I need to get the correct proportion. The proportion is always more important than shape. You want to get it in the right place, right? All right, that's 40 minutes, right, for the basic block out. And after that, this is going to be the case of adding details. So I guess I can maybe just have one level of detailing with a higher resolution data mesh. So I'm going to go to data mesh and then change that to double, which is 512, and then data mesh it one more time. Okay, now here's when I can really dig in. I can have 3 million polygons now. So should give me enough to start digging in, have some fun with the shapes. Right, so let me use the standard brush to mark the eyelid. Standard brush has this really cool feature. It's rounded, right? So you can use it to sculpt out anything that's you want it to feel soft and rounded like the eyelid in this case. Okay, let me fill in more volume around it. also. He's kind of like an old guy, I think. And so there will be many wrinkles happening here. Oh, that's one of them. And then maybe another one. Now you want to avoid being too much having too many repetitive things. So trying to make it, having all those various changes down the way. Yeah, and almost like you have all sorts of wrinkles in there, right? So I guess I can just do some more stronger variations like that. So cutting in here, right, all those things, and then I can use the clip it up to build up the volume there. And some wrinkle there, but let me just have some more things in here. Auto saving, always a blast. Okay, so this goes this way, and then we have what's happening on the forehead is basically a bunch of horizontal wrinkles. Of course it shouldn't be symmetrical, so I can turn off symmetry and just break it up a little. So something over here. Right, to have some more winkly things. Right, and just some of the connections maybe. Have some fun. Yeah, detailing is not that interesting to me. I just keep adding those shapes. Man, of course, their intensity sometimes is a little bit hard to control, so you have to be patient. Of course, that comes into like how confident and experienced you are with doing those shapes. Generally speaking, once you get fluent, it shouldn't be too hard to do. Right, and also it's also based on like the what you're thinking. Like most of the times when you're doing the details, you're still trying to figure out if there's something wrong with your bigger shape. And that's what I do all the time. Like I'm sculpting those shapes, so I'm trying to see if those shapes are in the right place first. If they're not, then I wouldn't trying to do too much. Some interesting wrinkles going on. Adding a lot of wrinkles. Yeah. Now, of course, don't be afraid of adding things. You add them first. If they don't feel right, you keep adding and see if they get better. I think that's the right attitude. Like, don't deny yourself too fast. I think that's what some of the beginners are doing. Like, if you see something you don't like, yes, that could be wrong already, but if you keep denying those things and redo them all the time, how are you going to make progress, right? Maybe they're wrong because the other parts haven't been there yet. Maybe they are wrong, but how are they wrong is hard to judge. I think it's you add enough stuff before you make your judgment. I think that's also more, just be more confident, right? I see a lot of my students or just draw something out and they just smooth it out, right? And not really making any progress at all. Like they're just keep denying themselves. That's not a good attitude either, right? So I recommend to not denying yourself too fast yet. You probably just need to keep on going, and sometimes when there is a isolated detail you added in, of course it's gonna feel wrong because you haven't really added the rest of the things anyways. So how could it be looking right? It's just looking something abrupt in there. So you give some time to add more stuff, right? That's 45 minutes in, right? Just like that, you can just gradually adding those smaller things to break up. Of course, here I'm having symmetry off already, but I think I can add some more detail before I do that though. It's gonna have some more volume. Yeah, it's just gonna be like this and just keep on going and adding new details, of course. And when it comes to this stage, you can already feel like things are getting repetitive. You just keep adding details. Some people like to doing details, some people doesn't. To me, I think, I feel like excited when eventually when I got every detail added in and it looks like really cool, but really the process isn't that enjoyable to me. Okay. Anyway, so the lips, right? I have some teeth inside. And then the lip. Let me use the standard brush again. Standard is one of my favorite brush. Some people doesn't use it at all, but to me, why not? If it can do something, like just because it's standard, somehow it's too primitive to you. I don't think so. Right? I think it has its usages. So and drag this up, smooth that. Too much smooth. Just a little bit of smooth, and then maybe I can add some winkles to the lip. And cutting in there. And this is not symmetrical, so I probably can just already be doing that. I have that part. More wrinkles to be connected in there. Yeah, I think that should be for a quick sculpt, right? I think that should be how far I go. Maybe I can do more later on, but for now I think that should be enough for now. And for the head, I think that's the part that's really needs some progress here. So let me do this part. For the head, I think what I need to do is to give the edge in here, right? There are multiple ways to achieve this. I'm gonna go for like a more technical way, which is I'll be actually adding a different piece for that. So I'm gonna go to sub tool and have a copy, right? Now for this one, I'm gonna go for a zero measure and same amount. All right. I think I like this one already, so I'm gonna delete the old one. Yeah, I don't need that old one anymore. Okay, and then let me have another copy. And this time I'm gonna go for a masking. Let me Control D to subdivide it. Twice maybe. Mask by feature. That should mask the edge. And I can Control click to reverse that, and then I'm gonna shrink the mask. Control Alt and click to grow the mask. Okay. Control Alt and click to tighten up the mask, basically. I think it should be wider there, so I'm gonna go for another shrinking, and then Control Alt and click to tighten it up. Now here, of course, there's something I need to fix to make it sharper here. Yeah, but that should be the edge. And then I can Control W to give the rest a polygroup. Go to geometry and delete lower, Control Shift and click on that. I'm gonna go for a delete hidden. And I can also go to deformation and drag the polish by feature up a few times just to round up those edges. And then I can go ahead and do one more zero measure here. And then zero measure one more time. I can go for half and just reduce the polygon. Sometimes that can actually give me more. The lower the polygon is, it's easier to make adjustment, right? So this is sharp, so let me define that first. Yeah, better. So then I need to give it thickness, BDM to go to Z modeler, extrude, polygroup all, go forward, and then go to the back and click to do the same amount of extruding. Yeah, hit D button to smooth preview it, right? And here's the, I probably need to cut out that, or maybe I can just drag it in. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to do something too detailed anyways. So maybe just make it look okay. That's all. Okay. And then after that, I can also, of course, Control D to subdivide this piece. Have a few more resolution, right? I can then start adding some more detail, or refine the shape basically. You can clearly see like a ridge in there. I'm gonna use standard brush to do that. Inside of the head is looking real bad. But again, you don't really see it, so why do I even bother? Maybe just make it more flat in here, right? Now also you can see I'm keeping this thing thin because I know I need to tweak things a lot, so I'm not ready to give it thickness yet. I can give it thickness later on if I wanted to, or I can keep it not having thickness at all. That could be fun too, because I have double layer anyways. Now no one would see it's thin, right? Okay. And then I think there's some band in there. Let me grab the head and have a copy. And for the copied one, I can maybe mask the area. Control W, Control Shift and click. I'm gonna do a delete hidden. Okay, and then I think I can go for a zero measure with a lower poly count. That's funny. Let me do a deformation. And then polish by feature to make it smoother, and maybe one more zero measure. Whenever I see those weird behavior, you can try to polish by feature first before you do something, and that will usually fix the issue. So I have that now, and then I can go BDM to give it some thickness, extrude in. Right, one thing I do just to make my model lighter, because you have double the resolution in this case, what you can do is you can Control Shift and click on that, and Control Shift S to shrink in, and then Control Shift and click to reverse that, and you can do a delete hidden. So you know now that this will appear to be having some thickness, but because you have the inside deleted, you're having literally just half of the size. Poly count wise, it's gonna give you twice as much resolution, right? So good, it's a good thing to do. Right, so there's some broken part that I can maybe just do it this way to mimic that. And then we just have some random stuff. You want to go to display properties and turn off that one, see if it's flipped. It could be flipped if it doesn't behave correctly, like what I have earlier. Just have some more like lines and stuff, so just randomly have some variations. Should be fun for this piece. Add some ridge on the very edge. That's actually what's gonna make it look more interesting. So I'm using standard brush for that. Back to the hat, maybe, I want to keep it within an hour, right? If you wanted to, you can keep on going with this, but I'm just doing quick sculpting, so I'm not going to detail it. I'm not going to do all these things, right? Just, yeah, so maybe just have some fun with the hat. I can add some noise. So surface, noise, and then strength and noise scale. Like that. Okay, and maybe I can also apply to mesh, of course, first. And then maybe I can apply some interesting things there. I don't have all the model. I can model something, but just save some time, and maybe I can use just this guy, I guess, and make it stronger, and just drag it out, and so some of the various places. So kind of like have that thing, it's not even close to what's going on, but that can really make it feels like you have something on it. Okay, some more final adjustment maybe. Take the shape of the face. So this could be more rounded. One of the ways I can give it roundness is to use the standard brush and make it bigger and not that strong, and draw over here to give it arc, right? And this should be it. This should be the quick sculpt for Captain John something. Don't quite remember the full name. Yeah, and you can see it doesn't take too long, just 1 hour, right, to have some fun with it. And there are many parts I can add detail, of course, but for now I think this is some level that I can say, okay, to stop now and enjoy. So I'm gonna go to a different material, maybe like this green one. maybe we take it to Blender and just have some fun over there. I think that would be actually more fun. So yeah, let's do that. So I need to convert the model into something simpler. Let me go to this guy, because this guy is subdivide. This guy is smooth preview. So I need to actually press Ctrl D to subdivide it, and then we can do a merge visible. Okay, and then I'm gonna use that merged one, and then we'll have to reduce polygons by going to Z plugin, and then we look for decimation master. Okay, and drag the custom amount of polygons. I think I can go for 512 and custom. That should give me that much of a polygon basically. And bring that away. All right. While it's doing that, I'm gonna open Blender. And it's always you're always going to be able to do better job with a dedicated renderer. ZBrush renderer is able to do something, but you know, if you really want to get a lot of control and a lot of flexibility and more iteration, it's probably better to use a full package like Blender or Maya. Okay, and Blender is kind of the fastest way to get something rendered. Use its real-time Eevee renderer. Okay, anyway, back to ZBrush. Okay, it's still trying to calculate. So wait to make it go through all these. All right, now this is my model now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing out. Export. Okay, then download. So there will be Davy Jones. Okay, now back here to Blender. Let me hit X to delete this guy and go to File and then import OBJ. Downloads Davy Jones. Okay. Now I don't know why they are having this weird icon when you have things loading. Yeah, it should be more like this, right? It's using like a black square when you're loading stuff. All right, cool. Now we have our model in here, right? And I just need to start setting up some lighting. So of course, go to the render here, click on that to go to rendering view. And then also need to go to the camera, and I'm gonna go to the view settings to lock the camera. The camera itself, I think, somewhere. View settings and camera to view. Yeah, that should be it. So I can lock the camera to my viewer. Okay. This is my rendering angle, maybe. Okay, and then I'm gonna uncheck that and go back to my normal viewing angles. I'm gonna go try to have some adjust the lighting here. So it's maybe here for the primary light. Maybe, yeah, I think this 3/4 angle light will be nice. Okay, and then I need to maybe have some fun with the colors. So go to the light, click on the color. I'm gonna choose this candle light kind of like color, so it's gonna be yellowish and warmer, right? And then Shift D to have a copy of that. I'm gonna move this over to the back to have some rim light. You can see how easy it is to set up some lighting here, right? Now, doing this in ZBrush is of course possible, but you have to do a lot of tweaking too, because you don't really see it unless you render. So it's going to be really difficult to get exactly the rim light you want to go for. But here you can see I can just quickly move it and I can see the feedback right away. Now this will be maybe the moonlight from the from the outside. So I'm going to put something in there, and then Shift D to have another copy. Go to the other side. Here maybe I can have more like a fireplace light and give it more red and orangish tint. And then maybe one more light for the fill light. Yeah, that'll be okay actually. Maybe a little bit more further. How about that? Yeah, okay, cool. So with those lighting set up, I think I can go ahead and start setting up some of the render materials. This clay material may look better if I give it subsurface scattering. So with the model selected, I'm gonna go to the material section, and maybe I can change the subsurface amounts. Have a little bit of subsurface. Okay. And subsurface radius. This is the skin radius, of course. Okay. And his skin is kind of like humanish, I think. You have a little bit more grin, maybe, to give him some like interesting tint. All right. And overall, I think this should be weaker. Should be very weaker. Maybe not that much green. .8 maybe. All right. And then maybe the key light can be a bit stronger, I think. Let me grab that and then make the key light 1500. Right, just to make it stronger. Maybe 1800. Yeah. And then these lights can also be stronger. Right, just to make the whole thing brighter here. Okay. Now I think I can go to compositing. Okay. Let me change that to the imagery editor, and this is gonna be the render results. And of course, I need to do a render to see that. Okay. Now this is based on the camera angle. I set it up. Here I need to go to maybe compositor here to do have some fun here. Okay. And so I'm gonna do Shift A and input, and then render maybe image, right? Oh, I have to check on use nodes. Yeah. Input and then image. And that'll be the render result. Okay. And then I'm gonna go another one, output. Ah, that's not cool. I think I'll need to find the one. I'm not so familiar with its render layers, maybe. Yeah, I think I need to use this one instead. Yeah, that's gonna give me the actual render results. Oh, I also need to have an alpha here, so I'm gonna go to the render settings. So camera, film, transparent. Do another render, F12 to do that. Yeah, now that's gonna give me alpha. Okay, and then moving on from there, I think output, composite maybe. Yeah, that goes to the image. And then I need to add something in the middle. Shift A and color correction maybe. RGB curve. Okay. Now for the basic curve, I'm gonna try to enhance some of the contrast. Yeah, like that. Make it stronger here. Film-like. Cool. Yeah, I like this darker color for sure. Use alpha. I think I have, yeah, background, black background should be fine. I don't really care. The background. I just want to have some nice render, right? So what else? Maybe we can tweak the. I think I can go to the render layers and check on a few things like shadow, for example. That's gonna give me the shadow, right? Let me check that. Shadow goes the image. Nah, it's gonna be the if I have some shadow catcher. Maybe I'm doing something too much things. I don't really need to have all those things. Okay, so I guess I can just tweak the contrast more. I don't need to do too much compositing here. Just more contrast. So more contrast. Yeah, and then I'm gonna lower down the saturation. So color, hue correct. Hue, maybe that's not it. Or I need to drag all these things down. Lower down the saturation on these guys. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, let me see if there's something else I can do. So Shift A, color correct. This is fun. This is like I'm doing some sort of like nuke already. I mean, it looks really cool. Like even the UI is looking real fancy. The fact that you have all those settings available on the node is pretty cool. Otherwise, I have to go to a kind of like an attribute panel to do those things. It wouldn't be really easy. So I just need to lower down saturation a little bit to give it more like a feel, more cinematic feelings, and too saturated will make it feels like lesser cinematic in this case. Yeah. Okay, that's enough of me playing this, right? So yeah, done with that. Just go image. I can save it, basically, and that's it. That's the quick sculpt all the way to some nice render, and maybe in the layout I can have a copy of that and drag it over here and have some rotations. The axis. I need to rotate more. Yeah, okay. And then Shift D to have another copy. Oh, come on. Control C, Control V. And here, maybe this one can have side view angle, maybe. Okay, let me take a look at the camera here. Yeah, it's a 3/4 view. Okay, let's see. Back here to my compositing, I'm gonna do another render. F12. Cool. Yeah. Okay. This can be some nice presentation, right? I guess the lighting here can be adjusted a little bit more. I'm gonna go back to the rendering, to the layout, and then go to the rendering. Of course, I'm gonna grab the light 02, the light. Oh, not this light. Light 01, or maybe I can have a copy of that and drag it over here for this side view. Right, and this one's missing that. So let me have a copy and add it over here. Yeah, I like that. It's not bad. Let me see if we can just make it go slightly closer to a 3/4. Okay, enough of me doing that. Now back here to my composition, do another render. Alright, that's it. So as you can see, it's pretty cool to have all those things put together eventually, right? And have a nice looking render for this. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.